I was 22 years old, president of the JCs. I was invited to St. Louis to a big regional meeting in a Hazelwood Recreation Center. First time I'd ever been in one. I was just mesmerized by the facility and what the building had to offer to the community. Not only were the kids having a blast, but I knew what an image enhancement it did for a community to have a building of this magnitude. Later on that year, I was asked by, again, at a JC meeting at Florissant, and Florissant also had a community recreation center. I went there for the meeting, and it was actually more elaborate than the one in Hazelwood. I came back to Arnold, this is 1977, and I started trying to talk to people and try to get people convinced that Arnold needed a recreation center. Looking back on it now, I'm in my mid-50s. It's kind of funny when you think about it, because kids were playing kickball in the street and raw sewage were running down the gutters because of failing septic tanks. Roads were in deplorable condition back in 1977. I mean, some of the potholes were big enough that you could almost see catfish jump in them. And here I am trying to convince people that we needed a recreation center when they didn't even have basic needs of sewers and streets. But I don't know if I was the world's worst leader at that time or the craziest, or maybe if I was the best salesman in the community, because somehow I convinced the city fathers to put it on the ballot 3 years later. It failed miserably. And it should have. It should have. I mean, we weren't ready for that in 1977 or 1980. But what came out of that vote was that local bank president in town, his name was Roy Poncho. We needed something tangible to show the public in the campaign what a recreation center could look like, and we needed a picture of some sort. So we had the idea, and Roy was the guy that approached Jefferson College in Hillsborough and asked the architectural design department and the drafting department if they would take it on as a community project and let the class put together a facsimile of what this recreation center could look like. And we had a lot of meetings with the class, went up, they picked our brain of what our dream was, what we had seen in other recreation centers. They had done a lot of research on them. And it took a whole semester, and they completed the drawings. We used them for the newspapers, we used them in the brochures that we passed out and we sent in the mail to people. And even though it lost, I think the significance that came out of that campaign is that in talking to those students in Jefferson College was the first time that anybody had talked about putting a library in the same complex as a recreation center. And so today, as you all know, we have a recreation center complete with a college next door, and I think because of those students at Jefferson College, that was the first time it was talked about.